Hi everyone, so welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Chloe. I am a singer-songwriter, writer and a guitarist, and obviously as you can tell by the title, today I'm doing my reading list slash TBR for the rest of the year. I know I'm very late to this. I think most people will probably post these videos around the beginning of the year, but no, not me. I'm doing mine at the end of February because why not? I just haven't had the time to kind of sit down really and pull all of the books I have not read off of my shelf. I just haven't had the time to do that. But today I do. So I have kind of like a load of books beside me. I think people would have probably seen more. I've definitely seen people have more books. But this is kind of like the size of my stack, and then I also have a few books that I'd like to read this year that I don't actually currently have, so I'll go through those at the end of this video. But for the time being, let's go through the ones that I do have. And I feel like it might be worth just mentioning the non-fiction book first, because this guy is very thick. And this is You're Not Born to Suffer by Blake D. Bauer. I think I probably purchased this last year and I've really struggled getting through it. But the thing is, with non-fiction, I feel like you can just pick it up whenever you feel like it and just read a couple of pages, whereas with fiction you can't really do that. And then the rest of the books are all fiction. The only non-fiction books I own, I only have 2 non-fiction books, by the way, so yeah. And the other one I am actually currently reading. It's on my bedside cabinet waiting to be read. The first book, I'm just going to pick this one up. Some of these books I bought, some of these were Christmas presents, some maybe even birthday presents that I have not read yet. Oops. And some of these were kindly gifted from my uncle, who is an author himself, and I have read all of his books so far: Cogheart, Moonlocket and Sky Circus. I almost forgot the the title of the third book. All great books. Okay, so this first book was actually one that was gifted from my uncle. I think he gets a lot of ARCs. I think authors do get a lot of advanced reader copies. Yeah, we say proof. We're meant to say proofs over here in England, I believe, or Britain. You know, I'm like, ARCs, advanced reader copies. That's American. We say proofs. Yeah, so the first book is called Seed by Lisa Heathfield. And yes, it's a very like shiny book. Oh, it says a tense romantic thriller that won't let you go. That's already got me hooked, because I have been getting into thrillers a lot more recently. Not necessarily books, but I've been watching Pretty Little Liars a lot. I think I'm on season 2 now on Netflix. So, a romance thriller book, yes. The next book is Lying About Last Summer by Sue Woolman. This one was also gifted from my uncle. Another one that was gifted was, I say gifted, why do I keep saying gifted? He just gave them to me because he was getting rid of my books. Well, not gave them to me, but I took the most books from his pile. Books excite me. This one is Birdie by Jess Valance. Ooh, so this one is about a friendship. Let's just go through all of the books that my uncle gave me first, and then I'll go through the ones that weren't. Okay, so this next one probably looks a lot darker than what you'd probably see me reading, and the font is also very small. But this book, I never say the title still. This book is called The Lie Tree by Frances Hardinge. I think maybe I'm butchering that, I'm really sorry. I think this is maybe a thriller as well, maybe a horror. If it's a horror, I'm probably going to put it down within the first 2 pages, because if I'm being completely honest, I can't deal with 1 ounce of horror, not even a little bit. If this has 1 ounce of horror, you couldn't bet I'll put it down within the first few pages, because I can't deal with it. Another book is It Only Happens in the Movies by Holly Bourne, And I would also like to read Am I Normal Yet as well, if I get a chance to it. When Audrey Meets Harriet is the start of a truly cinematic romance, or is it? Audrey knows that Harriet is every movie cliche rolled into one, but she still chooses to let him into her heart, so yeah, she's gonna end up heartbroken basically. Sorry about that. And then the last 3 books that I got from my uncle. One by Sarah Crossan, then we've got Only Ever Yours by Louise O'Neill, and then the last book that was given to me, given to my family rather, was Instructions for a Second-Hand Heart by Tamsin Murray. What was I going to say? I don't actually know, but this has just intrigued me. This is a story about facing the future, no matter how frightening. This is a story about healing your heart, no matter how much it hurts. I feel like I need this. I read a lot of romance books. Can you tell? I feel like romance is in every book, though. Can we be honest about that? Can we please talk about that? Because has anyone else noticed that pretty much every book, despite the genre, despite if it's sci-fi or fantasy, there's always a fantasy subplot. There's always a romance subplot. Has anyone else noticed that? But all of these next books, I believe, are ones that either I've bought or I have received as a present. John Green books, because some of you might know that I really liked Looking for Alaska by him, and these are 2 books of his that I have not actually read yet, and I don't know why. I think it's just really hard to get through some books. I found it really hard to get through some books, and I think these 2 were like that kind of happened with me for these books, but I really want to get through them. So this first one is Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. Correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I think I probably am. And then obviously we have An Abundance of Catherines. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I think I started reading this and then I got really bored really quickly. I'm sorry, but I just find it really hard to finish book Who Runs the World by Virginia Burgin, or I may be pronouncing that wrong, I'm really sorry. I'll go for these ones. I think I got both of these in kind of like, is it the W.H. Smith? No, I think it's probably the Works, maybe. Or they have the 3 for £5 deal. This first one is What She Left by T.R. Richmond, and then I have When We Were Friends by Tina Seskis. And then I think, because it says the 3 for £5 deal on this book as well, I think I probably got this book in that deal as well. This was like last summer when I got these books. I got these books when I was on holiday in Cornwall. Was it Cornwall? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so it's been 6 months and I still haven't read these books, which just tells you how much I read. So this book is called The Good Girlfriend's Guide to Getting Even by Anna Bell. This book here, I think my mum actually got from a car boot sale or something like that. And this is a really thick book, like what the actual hell. So yeah, this is gonna be a really like long read. I never even said this is called The 1+1 by Jojo Moyes. So this next book was also in the 3 for £5 deal, so I don't think that this one was in that deal, the When We Were Friends book. It must have been this book, so I'm not entirely sure where I got that other one from. But this is called A Twist of the Knife by Becky Masterman. And then the last books, I think these 2 here were gifts, or presents rather, and then these ones I know I bought myself. So these ones that were presents, this one is called The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon, and then the other book is The Names They Gave Us by Emery Lord. And then the last 2 books I have Sophie Kinsella's The Undomestic Goddess. This is the very last book. This is called Mageborn by Stephen Aryan. I do not know how to pronounce his surname, I'm sorry. Oh, but that's not all. I am losing my voice. Those are not all of the books that I wish to read this year, because I obviously said that I have books that I like to read that I don't actually have right now. I'd like to get them within the next few months, when I've got a bit more money. Yeah, I have a lot of paperbacks. I only have one hardback, and that's that, The 1+1 by Jojo Moyes. I have 4 other books that I'd like to read this year, and they are all AuthorTubers, so AuthorTubers books. I put this one at the top of my list for a very good reason, because I want it to be a book that I read very, very soon. And it is The Saviour's Champion by Jenna Maressi. I have heard great things about this book, and I also just really want to be able to support AuthorTubers a bit more by actually buying their books. I really want to get my hands on The Saviour's Champion, and I really want to be able to read it and see why people are saying what they're saying, because I think it's going to be a great book. And it's also got that element of fantasy as well, and I'm trying to branch out into different genres of books as well. So, the next book is actually Song of the Dryad by Natalia Lee, because I also really want to read this book, but not as much as I want to read The Saviour's Champion. That sounds really bad, but obviously I will read them all at some point. Like all of these books, I'll read them all at some point, unless I DNF them. So I'd also like to read Song of the Dryad, because I've heard that it's a whimsical kind of like fantasy book. It's kind of like a little more lighter. Well, I'd say it's, well, based on the covers, it's probably a lot lighter than The Saviour's Champion, because, yeah, The Saviour's Champion is red, and then Song of the Dryad is more purple. So I get the feeling that I think it's more of a contemporary fantasy as well, if I remember rightly. And then the last 2 books that I'd also really like to read this year are Essence and I Am Mercy by Mandy Lynn, because, like I said, I want to support AuthorTubers a lot more, and I want to be able to like talk to people like in AuthorTube, without people like spoiling it for me that have read the books. I am already reading She's Not Here by Mandy Lynn, and so far I am enjoying it. And that is everything for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also make sure to subscribe down below and ding the bell to be notified every single time I upload. I upload at Thursdays. I upload on Thursdays at 7 PM, I was about to say BSC, nope, GMT, until daylight saving time starts. All of my social media links will be in the description below for you to go and check out. And I will see you in next week's video. Thank you so much for watching. Have I already said that? I think I have. I will see you in next week's video. Bye!